Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and I want to share this gorgeous suite with you that's called Hello Irresistible, and it was irresistible to me. Can't even say it. and as a demonstrator, I got to pre-order this. This is one of a few online exclusive products that Stampin' Up are launching on the 1st of March 2023. So the suite has the stamp set, beautiful flowers, leaves, little splatter effect, and gorgeous fonts on these sentiments. There are also the dies, this circular one and this one here. I want to give you a little look at, let me just find where I put the bits. So the circular one, I just had a scrap, almost square piece of card, put the die on there, and that's what's left. So I've got a card that shows it as well. So I cut out my piece of designer series paper from the pack that I'll show you, and put that die in the middle of it, and it leaves this behind. The other one is different. So there's the piece of leftover paper from that card that I put that die on, and so you get left with this piece here to use. So the two dies work in totally different ways. So the rectangle one will give you a die cut to take away and use, and the circular one will cut into your layer and you use your layer. So just so you know, the designer series paper, absolutely gorgeous, and the colours in this pack include two colours that have previously been in Stampin' Up's collection but retired, and they are Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. So the designer series paper also has Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Petal Pink, and Soft Sea Foam. So I'm just letting you have a quick look at both sides of these papers. And one of the other fabulous things about these papers is that some of the dies will cut out some of the flowers and those tiny little leaves and those leaves. So this card, the only stamping is my sentiment, and I have die cut these leaves and flowers from the designer series paper. Love that. And there's another one that will tie up with those dies, and that's the one I'm going to use today, but I'm not going to die cut from it. I'm just going to use it for a box. Oh, sorry, forgot to show you these. I have got some on my card. They are kind of, well, they are frosted, loose frosted dots, so you do need to adhere them yourself. They're not self-adhesive. So I just used my tiny little pot of glue to put a dab where I wanted the dot to go, and then selected one with tweezers. So you can actually see there are 3 different sizes there. I know that's really small for you to see, but if I lift them up, possibly could with that. 3 different sizes, 3 different colours, and they're all upside down because that was just the easiest way to get them in that little pot. Can I get them? No, I can't. No. Maybe. You get the idea. They are frosted, they are dots, they're assorted frosted dots. And I don't know how many of them are in there, but there's a lot. Loads. Be nice for shaker cards as well. So yeah, that's everything in sweetener. I haven't forgotten anything else. I picked up these sweeties thinking I might do a Valentine's project with them. I didn't. And I don't want, well, I do want to eat them, but I'm not going to eat them. I'm going to give them as a random act of kindness to somebody because they are kind hearts. So here in the UK, we normally have these called love hearts. I think they're possibly conversation hearts elsewhere. But this is a special edition in aid of a Young Minds Trust charity. So they've got things like be kind, good vibes, all positive messages. So I'm going to make a box. I'm going to make a lidded box. And I thought I'd give you a little insight into how I normally work these things out. So what I did was measure, kind of squished in the ends a bit there, measured that and give it a little bit of an allowance. So went with 5.5 inches on that. Then measured that way, and it is 1 3/4 inches, and then I just measured the height just using a ruler, and 3/4 of an inch will give that plenty room, so you can still get them in and out fairly easily. So my card length needs to be the length of my product, 5.5 inches, plus 2 of the height, because I'm going to have the ends fold up. Okay, so 5.5, 3 3/4, and 3 3/4 equals 7, I hope. And then for the short side, I need the width, 1 3/4, and again, I want 2 of the height, 3 3/4 and 3 3/4, so should be 3 1/4. That's the piece of paper that I want to use to decorate the lid of the box, and I've got Flirty Flamingo and Petal Pink. And I just need to decide which way round I want to do the box. Yeah, I think I'll have that as the base. So let's cut that out first of all. Trimmer. So I know that this is 8 1/4, so I can get my 7 out of that, no problem. So I'm just going to cut it on the long side at 3 1/4. Loads of that left over for something else. And then I'm going to trim this down to 7 inches like that. And while I've got it there, I am going to do my scoring, and I want to score this at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. 3/4 of an inch. Just double checking, did I do that at 3/4? Yes, I did. For some strange reason I thought I'd done it at a half. Talking and doing, I'm not very good at it yet. So 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides, and that will be my base. Now let's just make this up, and then I'll show you what I want to do for the lid. So this video will probably be a bit longer than normal because I am introducing you to new products, but also give me a little bit more detail about my process of making this. So, and do my calculations. So, something stuck there. So I'm just going to cut up to that horizontal score line both sides. Okay. And to make my base a little neater in the corners, I'm just going to chop off a little wedge either side, like so. Okay, and do that on all 4 of those little squares. Okay. I think I need to clean and possibly sharpen these snips. I think I've got something sticky on them. Right, so as usual, I want to put glue on all 4 of those little tabs. Come on. I'm not putting it too close to the edge because it will spread. Okay, then fold that up and bring your edges together. Hold that for a moment and then just work your way around and do the others exactly the same. Okay. All right, so moment of truth. Do my sweeties fit in? Yeah, of course they do. Great fit. Now, if I were to make the box exactly the same, I'd have to have some kind of thumb notch or something to put that over. So I'm actually going to change the depth of the box to a 1/2 inch. Sorry, the lid. Right, so that is for the base, and for the lid I want the long side to equal 5.5 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 and then plus 1/16. Okay, and that's just so that it's got enough room to go over the card for the base. Okay, so 5.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5 would be 6 9/16, adding that on. Okay, and then for the short side, this is testing my mathematics or arithmetic really. So I want 1 3/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 and then plus 1/16. So that bit is 2 3/4, and let me just get my calculator because 3/4, 16th, so that would be 12/16. So I need that to be 13/16. So yeah, 1 3/4, add 1, 2 3/4. So that's what I need it to be. Right, let's put this to the test with my Flirty Flamingo card. So 2 3/4 and then plus a little bit essentially. Okay, let me see if I can bring that closer to you. So 2 3/4 is to there, and then I just want to add on a 16th on there. Do I mean a 16th? I mean an 8. Do I? No, I do mean. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. So that would have been 6.5 and then 1 extra notch. Okay, but I am still going to do this at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. Okay, oops, that's slipped out. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So our base was 3/4 inch, but because the lid isn't going to come all the way down the side of the base, I'm just scoring it at 1/2 inch. Then, as normal, let's just reinforce all those score lines and then do exactly the same for the lid as we did for the base. So cutting up and then chopping into those squares. So you do it in whichever order you prefer. Do all your cutting up and then you're chopping, or you can do it cut and chop, cut and chop, cut and chop. Totally up to you. As long as we all end up in the same place, doesn't matter which order. Okay, so again, that's what you end up with. Now I want to add some of this gorgeous designer series paper in there, so I want to cut this down. I know that my length was 5.5, so I'm just going to take, in fact let's do the width first. So the width was 1 3/4, so I'm going to do that at 1.5, taking 1/4 inch off. That was 5.5, so take 1/4 inch off and do that at 5 1/4. Okay, I'm going to pop that in there. If it was a bigger box, I'd probably decorate the sides of the lid, but that's only 1/2 inch, so if you take 1/4 inch off, that's only going to be 1/4 inch. It's just not really worth it, is it? Use the pretty paper for something else. So while that's flat, I'm just going to pop that on here. And then, same as before, adding a little bit of glue to each of these tabs. Just a little bit. It's really strong glue. It does hold really, really well. Takes a moment or two to grab, but when it does, it's solid. So you don't need a huge amount. You don't really want it to come oozing out of the sides. It's a little bit difficult with my big fat fingers. Then just simply pop it over like so. So you see it's not going all the way down to the bottom, so it's much easier to get the lid off and get into those sweeties. Now I have to decide on a little bit of decoration. And let me think. I think I want to use one of these, but not particularly that colour. Do I do it the petal pink? Yeah, why not? Why not? I've actually got quite a few scraps of petal pink at the side of me here. So we'll cut one of those. And because this is just going to be a random act of kindness, I think I'll just put a flower and some leaves on that. Sorry, I forgot that was totally off camera there. So I'll need to trim that down. I did say I wasn't going to use those flowers from the paper, but I think I might actually. It just makes life easier. But I think I'll die cut those from soft sea foam. Okay, right, bear with me whilst I die cut that, and I will cut, let me bring that paper back, the page that I used previously, because it's got a little bit more yellow on it. I'm just gonna chop around that. Then that die can go on there, and I will look out a couple of scraps of soft sea foam and cut some of these leaves. I might do that leaf as well. And yeah, I'll be back in just a moment. Right, so I have done my die cutting, and we've got that one cut the flower from the designer series paper. Put that one back, and then I was going to cut them from soft sea foam card, but I glanced to the side of my desk and I had this piece of the designer series paper there. I decided that I would die cut from that instead. And we've got this where I have die cut. And so it was just to show you that when you take it out, it's a little bit bitty. So just go gently and take out those pieces. They may stay in your die, they may not. I had some that stayed and some that didn't, obviously. And then any little bits, make sure they come out as well. Okay, so you can rather distort the shape of this, and you might want to do that on purpose. So I've got a box, lids on. I want to chop that down. I want to pop that on and then put on those flowers. Let me just put my dies back where they belong before I lose any of them. Here's the other one. Okay. Clear up this mess. Now, I want this, again, that was 5 1/4, so I want it to be roughly that. And I'm actually going to use my little guillotine. Or can I? So how long is that? It is just short of 6 inches. So if I take, no, I can't really use that. Doesn't go long enough. Let's bring in the trimmer and be brave. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go for marking that. I want to cut it just before that big circle, and I'm just going to do it with scissors. Because I'm a little concerned that if I used my trimmer, I'd go off. So, bring in my snips. And can get this where I want it, like that, and just be brave, snip, 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 like that. Yay, that'll do. Right, I think this may be a die best used with an adhesive sheet. Why didn't I think of that? I'm gonna add little bits of glue, especially at the ends, and bigger bits on those dots. Try and keep it in place. But we can play about with it while it's on and make sure that we like where it is. If there are any kind of longish bits, we want to make sure we put a little bit on there too. Okay, so lots of dots. Bring the lid over. And I'm going to try and keep the bottom bits out of the way whilst I pop on the top bits. And the middle bits. And I should have been a little bit further along that side. But I don't want to take it off because I don't want to have dots of glue all over the place. What I could do is just trim that down a little bit more before it offsets. Like it, I like it, like it. So it's very abstract. Just making sure I've got these bits glued, because I've cut off the bit I probably put glue on. A little bit fiddly, hence why the adhesive sheet, before you die cut it, add that to the back of your card or paper, whatever you're using. Then run it through your die cutting machine. I've done a couple of projects with the adhesive sheets recently, so don't know why I didn't think about using it for this, but it is pretty, isn't it? It's a lovely die cut. So, got my flower. I think we need dimensionals. And of course you could add a sentiment. Just added two dimensionals together there. Oh. I'm going to put that. Do I want it centred? Yeah. Why not? I'm not putting a sentiment on, so why not? Right. And these will need to be glued down because there's not a big enough space for them to have a dimensional. So let's pop that one there. And I've got a little one here. On like that, and then this other one like these, kind of like skeleton leaves, and I'll pop that one on there like so. Really, really pretty. Just nice, easy, little gift box using these gorgeous new products. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment to let me know. If you're looking for the dimensions for this and or the products that I've used, please do click on the description bar. Can't give you a link to the new products yet, but I will put the product numbers there so that you can check them out come the 1st of March 2023. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye.